Nerd Academy Podcast is released weekly at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, available on our website at www.thenerdacademypodcast.com and wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the Nerd Academy Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You can also help support the show by going to patreon.com/The Nerd Academy Podcast, where every donation allows us to bring you more exciting content every week.
Good morning, class, and welcome back to the Nerd Academy Podcast, your source for nerddom news and commentary. I am your host, Jarod, the Dark Jedi Bachman Subs, your superior web headmaster. I bungled it. We got the last pod son of Krypton over here, Spence Simpson, and we got your resident Green Lantern, Professor Travis Grossman.
Nice.
We have a loaded show for you guys this week. We got TV talk, but before that, we do have some news, and we're going to jump into it right now with our thoughts on the trailer for James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Travis, I'm going to kick to you first, buddy.
It's weird because, I'm not ecstatic over it. It's good. It was a good trailer.
Yeah.
Right? But, I think it's just that, there's an absence of anything I didn't like. And so I'm just oh, yeah, I'm going to like this movie. It's going to be good. I'm going to enjoy this. There's my mother. And I'm happy about that. And I don't have it in me to get excited over this for some reason.
Does it have anything to do with the first one going?
No, I think it has more to do with the Snyder Cut.
Wonderfully.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I keep forgetting that, you get to live, blissfully ignorant for the most part. I will say, nobody here hated it.
That's fair.
It was very close. I really didn't like it. But I don't think it's an offense against mankind. Well, but yeah, I think it put me in that headspace of when DC movies were really bad, and so I'm oh yeah, right. We get good ones now. We get okay ones now. This is good.
They are. They don't all live in the gutter. No, that's fair. Spencer, you just watched it.
I just watched it before we started the show today, and I was expecting bad things because, like I said, the first Suicide Squad movie was garbage, and I was wow, this actually looks unironically funny and kind of good. I was they managed to put, what the heck's his name? Dave Dashdamalian or whatever.
Dave Dismelchin.
Dave Dismelchin. Thank you. They managed.
I'm still probably messing it up. But
they managed to put him in a polka dot man suit that was so not subtle, but I wasn't that looks horrendous. I was why are you wearing polka dots? But also, why shouldn't you be?
It really works with the tone.
Mm-hmm.
I really and again, it's James Gunn, so he has 1.5 really, really, really solid comic book movies. And I say half because half of Guardians 2 is really good. The other half, not so much, at least for me. So I have this, I am chomping at the bit for this because I want to see his take on this team, right? And it already feels exactly like what I wanted from it.
Mm-hmm.
From the jump, that mix of heart and irreverence and, wink and nod at the camera type shit, but also just leaning into the comic booky, this just nonsense.
Peter Capaldi having
as
just
the thinker is such a great idea
sticking out of his head. I'm so excited just for that.
Also, we
It's like-
know who Stallone is playing now, so that's cool.
He
He's
was
the
King
voice
Shark,
of King
so-
Shark.
Okay. I couldn't tell. I didn't remember seeing him in the trailer.
Yeah, he's the voice because during DC fandom, they had the mocap actor for King Shark there, and not the actual actor. So we were like, well, it's either because Taika Waititi wasn't there, so it's either Taika Waititi or then they announced Sylvester Stallone, and now we know it was Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
And it was around that time where it was like, okay, we know Taika's in it, but they didn't show who was playing, like doing the voice for King Shark. And then there was the Stallone announcement, and then there was the leak about Starro that I'm pretty sure we covered. If memory
Maybe.
serves.
I don't remember.
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like we talked about that like rumor that, Starro was going to be one of the villains, if not the villain. And at this point, we know Stallone is King Shark. That means the giant starfish kaiju is most likely going to be voiced by Taika goddamn Waititi. And
I would have it no other way.
I'm so excited. I am chomping at the bit just to have that thing turn around. Just, oh, guys, I want it to just be him playing himself, like it is in every role that he's in, almost. But yeah, no, this looks incredible. The action is really exciting. I actually lulled.
Yeah, I
multiple
snickered a
times
couple
watching
times.
it. This makes me excited for the Peacemaker show, knowing that this is just how just right into the camera, earnestly, John Cena's playing Peacemaker. If there's in the name of liberty, I would eat all of these dicks. It's perfect. It is just the tone of the humor is immaculate, and I cannot wait for this. It feels like it's getting Harley right as far as the humor goes, which is
It feels like
always
it's continuing how she was in Birds of Prey.
Exactly. Like I guess get anxious because it's Harley and Deadpool, those two characters that if you just slip up just a little bit with the humor, it all falls apart and it's all cringe. And it feels like they have a good handle on Ms. Quinn for this. So yeah, very exciting stuff for the Suicide Squad trailer. Looking forward to it. Comes out in August. Expect a review. Moving right along here, we have an exclusive from the Hollywood Reporter that broke this past Friday. James Bond alum Pierce Brosnan is set to play Dr. Fate in Black Adam. This was basically confirmed, whatever the Rock tweet or posted on Instagram about it, talking about how excited he was to be in the movie with Pierce Brosnan. So that's pretty much no longer in ambiguity.
I like how with every casting announcement for Black Adam is a rumor, and then The Rock will post something about yeah, I love working with this person. And everyone's like, oh, okay, I guess it's true.
Yeah. He's done it for every single one so far. But yeah, we will be seeing the Justice Society in this movie like we discussed before. Obviously, Pierce Brosnan is going to be playing Dr. Fate. Aldous Hodge is going to be Hawkman. Noah Centineo is going to be playing Atom Smasher. And Contessa Swindell is going to be playing Cyclone. So we have our Justice Society in its entirety. Still don't know if they're going to be adversaries or allies with Black Adam. I would hazard a guess that it ends up being a little bit of both. Yeah. Travis, how do you feel about this casting?
I like it. He looks good. He looks the part. He's got that perfect, older but not unable to fight look. Right? And I mean, when he's Dr. Fate, it won't really matter. He'll have the helmet on and stuff. But yeah, I think they made a good pick.
I do too. I think they hit this one out of the park. Just knowing what Brosnan sounds like, I can't wait to hear him saying Dr. Fate shit through the helmet with his voice. It's just going to be really special. I don't
see it anywhere in the notes We also got a release date for Black Adam today.
I did miss that.
If it was June or July 29th, I think, of 2022. I just remember summer of 2022, but there was an actual date in the article I saw.
July 29th, 2022.
Yep. So there is that for our Black Adam news. We also have breaking today as of record on Monday the 29th. We have news from Deadline that one Russell Crowe is going to be appearing in Thor Love and Thunder. Insiders say, I'm just skipping through the article here because we already know what the movie's about. Insiders say Crowe is one of many surprises to come out of the film, with Matt Damon also confirmed to reprise his cameo from Thor Ragnarok. Taika Waititi's back as the director. We all know that. We don't really know much about what's supposed to be happening with Russell Crowe.
It sounds like it's going to be like Matt Damon, that he's going to be there for like a bit. You know?
Yeah, most likely. I mean, we also got confirmation that like Melissa McCarthy's playing Hela in a similar situation. That fell by the wayside, which, there was other shit and WandaVision happening. So we didn't cover that. So most likely Russell Crowe is just going to be doing the, here's a play of the last movie thing, which I think is funny. And I like that we're just going to keep that going from here on out. Here's some more Marvel news that I think is going to get a little bit more of a discussion. Black Widow and Cruella to debut on Disney Plus and in theaters as Disney shifts dates for 7 films. I'm just going to read directly from this article from Variety because there are some release date shenanigans happening here. As moviegoing slowly begins to rebound in the U.S., it appears Hollywood studios aren't yet ready to release their biggest blockbuster hopefuls on the screens yet. All that is to say, Disney has massively overvalued its upcoming slate and amended its release plan for Black Widow, Emma Stone's Cruella, Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, Pixar's Luca, and several others. Notably, Black Widow and Cruella will now premiere on Disney Plus at the same time they go to theaters. Cruella is arriving as scheduled on May 28th, while Black Widow has been pushed 2 months and will debut on July 9th instead of May 7th. Both titles will be offered on Premier Access, which comes with a $30 rental fee. We know Luca got moved back. Here are some of the release date moves. Despite the massive refocus on streaming, Disney doesn't plan to entirely ditch theaters. Numerous smaller titles, including mostly those inherited from 20th Century Fox, have been postponed and will likely be on the big screen, including Free Guy, The King's Man, Deep Water, and Death on the Nile. So, Shang-Chi got pushed back again. I'm trying to find Shang-Chi's new release date. It was bumped back to September 3rd, it looks like. So, if we still get Shang-Chi this year, I'm going to be stunned.
Yeah.
Like, we haven't even seen any marketing for it.
At least we know it's done shooting, so... it could happen. I feel like they'd be less afraid to put it to Disney Plus, depending on how Black Widow does. And I'm sure they don't want to, but and Black Widow's going to do fine.
Well, I want to ask, and I want to go to you first, Spencer, because you haven't gotten to be a part of like the day and date release conversations that have gone on as much as Travis and I have been. So how do you feel about this move? Because I know a lot of people seemed hopeful that after, whenever they dropped Soul for free on Disney Plus, they just added it. That if they were going to do this with Black Widow, maybe they do it that way. But no, they're going the Premier Access route like they did with Mulan and Raya and the Last Dragon. So...
I'm not surprised. I'm a little disappointed because I'm probably not going to fork over a Premier Access fee. But, I'll see it in theaters or we can get together and do a group watch sometime or something like that. But I would be surprised if I end up waiting until the entire Premier Access period has lapsed, before I see it, mostly because I don't want to end up getting stuff spoiled.
Yeah, for sure.
And with Mulan, it was like, I know how this goes. This is just a very bad live action remake. And I didn't see Raya and the Last Dragon. Raya and the Last. Yeah, I didn't see that because I wasn't really interested. I'm not surprised that they did it because Black Widow is going to be a big release for them. And if they just like, whoop, here you go, then they are they're definitely missing out on some easy money there that, you pay for your ticket at the theater and you pay your Disney Plus subscription, but like they're not getting anything out of that. So I'm not surprised, maybe a tiny bit disappointed, but I can't begrudge them that decision because they lose out on a good chunk of cash if they just released it for free, free. But
Travis, how do you feel about this? I'm curious if this is going to affect future Disney releases because, like, obviously, WB put it all on the table this year.
Yeah,
everything is day and date.
I think they don't. So it's the fact that it's a rental. Like, if you paid $30 and now Black Widow was in your Disney Plus feed forever and ever, amen. Then like, maybe that's still really high, but it's basically like you're buying an access key to, like you're buying the disc, right? And I haven't rented anything off Premier Access. So how long do you keep it for?
I'm not sure because I haven't either. We didn't do Mulan or Raya.
Yeah, so Raya, like every time I saw an ad for Raya in the Last Dragon, I'm like, that looks kind of neat. I kind of want to check that out. And then I remember I'd have to pay $30 for it and go,
yeah,
no.
That's like you could pay like $7 for an evening ticket and then $23 to buy it to keep forever, like in the store whenever it comes out on Blu-ray. So like the fact that it's a $30 rental, is
and the problem is it's going to
nuts.
work. Like Black Widow is going to be the ultimate testing ground. It will make the money off of that, and I think they could make theoretically more money by dropping it to like 10.
Yeah.
Right. If they make it like $10 for the rental, you get it for either 48 hours or until you finish it. Right.
Yeah.
Then way more people are going to be like, "Oh, it's just a movie ticket."
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like so, if I'm reading this Insider article correctly, I'm just going to read it to you, and you guys tell me if I'm reading this correctly. The Premier Access window for Mulan began on September 4th, 2020, and ran until December 4th, 2020. Meanwhile, the Premier Access window for Raya and the Last Dragon began on March 5th and will end on June 4th. This 3-month period is similar to the release window that studios typically use for theatrical movie premieres before they're allowed to debut on home video. So what I'm getting from this is when you rent it through Premier Access, you have it as long as you want within the time frame of which it is on Disney Plus.
Well, it would just release to regular Disney Plus at the end of that window anyway. So I still think that price is way too high because like
absolutely
scenario one, I buy a $30 DVD and I keep it forever and ever.
Saying. It is forever and ever. You just like it unlocks on your Disney Plus while you have it. Like, unless you cancel your Disney Plus the month after you get it, it stays there the whole time.
Yeah, but think of this. Scenario one, you pay $30, you buy a brand new Blu-ray release. Granted, there's like a 3-month difference there, but you buy it and you keep it forever and ever, and you never have to pay another cent on it ever again. Scenario two, you spend $30 the day it comes out, which is 3 months worth of watching that you've paid for, and then you get to go ahead and spend what $8 to $10 a month for the rest of your life. Like, granted, like if you split that up between all the things you can watch on Disney Plus, then it comes out to chump change per item. But like,
there's a couple of ways to make it more economic, I think. And I think the problem is they know they can make the money this way. Like, especially on Black Widow, like way too many people are going to be able to just, oh, it's a Marvel movie, $30, right? versus
yeah,
like if it was like $10 and you got it for a week, like if they had it in differing tiers, I think that would be a lot better than
I agree with you.
But and the reason they don't do that is because no one in their right mind would pay the $30 to unlock it permanently when they could. Because like, I don't watch, with the exception of like if something like Endgame is in theaters, I don't see something more than once or twice. So like, even owning stuff on disc, I don't watch my Blu-rays that often. So it's like, if I pay $30, I have to watch it like 2 or 3 times to make up that price difference. So I'm not going to do that if I can spend less. And they know that like if this is the only option they have, people will do it.
yeah. But I think conversely, if you were to bump it down to like 10, you know, if it's $30, you know, I might, you know, knowing that Jarod is going to spend the $30 to get it, I might just be like, you know what, I can wait a week until I see Jarod. We can have a movie night, you know, like get the whole gang together. One person spends $30. Maybe we flip a couple bucks to Jarod so he feels better and we feel better about like using it. Scenario 2, it's $10. I say, you know what? It's $10. I pay for it. Jarod pays for it. Travis pays for it. Joel pays for it. Already, they've made more money than they did off of just Jarod. It's like,
yeah, and
know,
I agree. I think people are willing to spend the money. Like it's the idea of you'll move more units if it costs less, and you'll turn less of a profit per unit, but you'll move so many more units that you'll make way more money, right?
Yeah.
And
I think they know. Like you said, I think they know if they did $10 units and $30 units, they would get way less $30 units. So they're saying like, here's what it is. You get the entire thing for a grossly inflated price, but people are going to do it.
I think the reason they're doing that though is because, so the difference between that and HBO Max came out and then like 2 weeks later, they were like, oh, by the way, everything's coming out same day. Like they went, oh, you don't want to get our service? Guess what? You can see every new movie coming out from Warner Brothers if you just get our service for the year. So it was their pull to get people to buy. Like I bought their product. I'm buying their product and very happy with it because I knew I could watch Wonder Woman the same day. I'll be able to watch Suicide Squad the same day. Versus Disney Plus had been out already for like a year before this happened. And they wanted people to still go to the movie theater to see their movies. And there's no extra money in just putting their shit up. Like you're not going to flip any new people to Disney Plus for your new releases. They already have Disney Plus.
Yeah.
So I think they're going the extreme route of when you already have a hold on the market, how do you strain it more? Right?
Well, that's dangerous though.
Yeah.
You know, if you've already got people by the nose, then like you don't want to yank them so hard that they don't stick around, you know?
And it's why this is such a lose-lose, because if Black Widow doesn't do well, that looks bad on female-led superhero movies because, oh, Black Widow didn't do well. We got to quit this, right? Mm-hmm. It's Black Widow's fault. If it does well, Disney goes, oh, putting our Marvel movies on Disney Plus for $30 makes us a shit ton of money. We're going to put them all on there. Hell, $40, you get some behind-the-scenes stuff. $50, we send you an autographed 6x4 of the lead actor or something. I don't fucking know. But you just it only gets worse when they get enabled, but not enabling it hampers this thing that we love, and it doesn't. It just sucks.
And I think this is what's going to be a really interesting study with Premier Access. Because the two movies they've already done it with are things that I think most adult moviegoers viewed as I can skip it until.
Oh yeah,
most people were most people weren't even looking forward to Mulan because everybody knew it was going to be shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then surprise, surprise, she's a Jedi in the movie and there's no music, so shocker, it tanked. I'm hearing good things about Raya and the Last Dragon, but except for like, families with kids who want to see a new Disney cartoon. For the most part, most like adult, fans of Disney shit I know are just kind of going, yeah, I can wait till it's just on Disney Plus proper.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Or I'll wait for a home release when I can just have a disc of it or something like that. But Black Widow's different. Like, this is the first time they're taking a big swing with one of their big tentpole releases. Like, Mulan as like a, fuck it movie. As like a, we want to go see a movie. I don't know what we want to go see. Let's just go see Mulan. Whatever. Mulan would have made its money the same way the Beauty and the Beast and Dumbo and
and I
every
think
other
Mulan
live
would have
action.
done better- Mulan would have done better critically if it wasn't Disney Premiere, whatever. Because if it had had a theatrical release, then I spent $7 to see this bad movie. So I'm not super I'm upset I got a movie ticket, but I got to go to the movies. Versus everything's burning outside, and I spent $30 to watch this awful movie, and now I feel terrible.
And it's going to be one of those things. Disney's playing with fire because like the first time that, Disney Plus buyers spend $30 on a theatrical or on a same day release and it's terrible, they're going to be like, nope, not doing that again. So like Travis says, it's either going to escalate and like, they're like, oh, we are making a bank off this thing and they're going to jack it way up, or they hit a speed bump and everybody bails.
That's what I'm so interested about, though, because Disney loves being the theatrical event. Like, they're like the last studio that makes a big friggin' deal about their shit coming out.
Yeah,
like,
and I think
in that wave that they do, like for like Star Wars and Marvel movies, like even when it's not the Avengers, it's still the world catches on fire. Why? Because Captain Marvel's here, and so's Ant-Man, and so's Spider-Man. Like, they pride themselves on being event cinema.
And I think that's the saving grace, is that in the post-COVID world where like theaters are safe to go to on the regular again, then this isn't a big deal because I don't have to pay $30. I can go pay the $7 at my movie theater. Hell, I can probably pay less at my movie theater because depending on how this works out, that like if now theaters don't have to pay their ticket tax to the producing company, then they can charge like $5 for tickets, and now I can go see Black Widow for $5, or I can see it in the comfort of my own home for $30, and I can see it at that theater for $5 without the screaming children family because they paid the $30 because it is still cheaper, right?
Yeah.
So
that was the conversation we had all the way at the beginning of all this. That it's better for people like us who aren't bringing an entire family, more often than not, like Lexi's in there with you. So like, let's say right now, the four of us decided to right now go see Black Widow. Most likely I'm paying for me, you're paying for you're paying for you and maybe Lexi or whatever, vice versa, however that shakes out. That individually is cheaper for the theater. Now, let's say, like we've always talked about, okay, whole family gets in the goddamn car, and now we're going. So let's factor in gas. Now let's factor in snacks. Now let's factor in food. We get, dinner before or after the movie. You're looking at $150 night that can turn into like $60 because you ordered pizza and got the goddamn movie. This is perfect for some people. I'm curious if Disney keeps a day and date with Premier Access because I think they might moving forward. I'm very curious to see what the future of this is.
Me too.
On the
Nervous.
other hand, I'm excited we finally get to see Black Widow because I was getting sick of them not doing this. And even though I didn't want to, I was hoping they would do the Soul route of just, all right, it's been long enough, just kick it on the Disney Plus, throw them a bone. But
yeah.
At least we get to see it now.
At least we get to see it. And we can probably make an event of it now. Like you were saying earlier, like we'll throw in like $2 and between 7 of us, like we'll get there, $2-3 and we'll call it a day. Yeah, still very excited. Hopefully Shang-Chi comes out this year because I'm still really excited for it. I'm going to jump around a little bit and go to this story while we're on the topic of Disney Plus. This is an exclusive from Variety. We might be getting a spinoff about the Marvel character Echo, branching off from the Hawkeye series. A show centered on Echo, a deaf Native American character who will be played by Alqua Cox in the Hawkeye series, is in early stages of development for Disney Plus. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. Ethan Cohan and Emily Cohen are attached to write and executive produce on the show, with a writer's room recently being assembled. Marvel Studios will produce. Reps for Marvel declined to comment. Reps for the Coens did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. For those of you at home, Maya Lopez is in the realm of super assassin ninja type characters. Like I said, Native American. She's deaf. There's a really interesting bit in the comics where, she's taught to memorize by hand how to play the piano. And whenever she's able to play a song in its entirety without anything in front of her, that's a moment where she's officially learned to conquer her deafness. And at one point she does take up the mantle of Ronin. I can't remember if she took it from Clint Barton or if she had it before Clint, or in what order that happened. But her also being somebody who's gone by the moniker of Ronin, it makes sense for her to be intertwined with the Hawkeye series. So look forward to that. I'm very interested in seeing this. This is right up. This is that type of content I've been wanting from the MCU, wanting from Disney Plus MCU, where you can do these weird characters, where you can do okay, here's our deaf assassin, and here's our schizophrenic guy who talks to a moon god, and here's a legal drama about She-Hulk. This is what I want. This is what I've been waiting for. So this news very much excites me. A little other throwaway bit of Marvel news that's not in the notes, but we can just kind of cover it. By the looks of it, Spider-Man No Way Home has finished shooting. It looks like everything's wrapped. Somebody posted their little goodie bag that they got from set. Kind of looks like it has an image of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man on it. That post has since been deleted, as has that Instagram account in its entirety. So keep a lookout, folks.
Vengeance is swift.
Indeed it is. Last little bits of news here. We have a recasting for Henry Allen for the Flash movie. Ron Livingston is replacing Billy Crudup. That's an exclusive from Variety. They're keeping Iris, but picking a new Henry Allen for the Flash movie, from what we saw in the Zack Snyder's Justice League. And we also have the casting of Nora Allen, whom will be played by Maribel Verdul of Pan's Labyrinth fame. So yeah, fun stuff there. Again, it looks like they are really going to try to make Flash come out.
And once again, I really hope they pay in advance for these actors, because I don't see this movie happening.
I don't want to take you up on your bet because I am curious to see how it turns out. But also I don't want Ezra Miller to have a job anymore. So
I don't want him to have a job. And even if he wasn't him, I don't see a legitimate way to build a movie around this Flash. He's too much the quirky sidekick. He's too much the quirky side character in either version of Justice League to really build a film around him.
I don't disagree with you. Surprise to everybody, I'm more excited about having two different versions of Batman in this movie than I am about the fact that it's a Flash movie. Surprise. I'm part of the problem with DC and its programming schedule.
And it's supposed to be Flashpoint, and they're going to screw up Flashpoint, so that's even worse. Yay. Hooray. Just what I always wanted. Speaking of things I always wanted, are we going to talk about it?
Yeah.
We were kind of right. I was kind of right.
You were.
I'm surprised I wasn't right about the actual hashtag. But hashtag restore my will to live, please. Because hashtag restore the Snyderverse has taken it away from me.
So, for those of you at home, in the wake of the success of Zack Snyder's Justice League, aka the Snyder Cut, aka I wanted to be done talking about this shit, but we can't be done. We'll never be done. It will never end.
I'm still getting headlines of Zack Snyder's Justice League is good. I get at least one a day, at least. And usually it's 2 or 3. I'm lucky if it's one a day.
I am so sorry that the internet gods decided that they're going to force.
I don't get to be free.
You know how people talk about things living in one's head rent free? It's not that the Snyder Cut or like Zack Snyder and his cult live in your head rent free. It's like in colonial America where like the British army would like force people to have soldiers live in their house.
Yeah, I keep evicting them, and then they show back up in the house in my head somehow.
Like you're being forced to quarter the Snyderverse in your head.
Protect the Third Amendment.
Yeah. So for those of you at home, in the wake of the success of Zack Snyder's Justice League, just like it happened with the Snyder Cut, his most ardent supporters and fans have taken to the internet. Some people will just occasionally tweet, "Hey, I liked the Snyder Cut. I'd like to see more. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse." And then they go on about their day. And then the other ones, the fucking crazy ones, are right back at it, harassing Warner Brothers employees. Go to any post about Kong v. Godzilla and count the amount of times you see the hashtag. We are right back to people just bullying people who work for Warner Brothers. Warner Media put out a Stop Asian Hate post, and one of the top comments under it was, "Stop the Asian hate. While you're at it, stop the Snyder hate. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse."
Spencer's
What?
face right now. Yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah.
Restoring the Snyder Cut, restoring the Snyder Justice League verse is more important than stopping racism.
I don't know what the shit to do with this anymore.
That's probably the guy that bought the plane banner.
Oh my God. There's another story I forgot to put in here. San Diego Comic-Con's happening this year during Thanksgiving weekend.
Ha!
Smart.
Intelligent, brilliant move. So, like, what the shit is San Diego going to look like this year? Are there going to be another slew of bus ads and plane banners and pamphlets being hung out like it's the Mormon fucking church? Like, are we back to this shit again? Is that what's going to happen again? Like, we're back to the harassment. Like, they got their bone and they shut the fuck up for 2 weeks. Like, everybody, like, there was peace on the internet. Like,
well, no, they didn't shut up. They ate their bone and then wanted another bone.
You're not wrong. Because, like, it was like the first time I can remember where the internet, except for the fandom menace who will never be happy. And again, shouts out Zack Snyder for telling geeks and gamers to suck one.
You sent me that video of him doing that, and I was like, I just want to hate you. Like, I just want to dislike you. Why are you making it so hard for me to dislike you?
Yeah, you missed that since you've just like kind of checked out on comic book stuff during like a premiere event for the Snyder Cut. Geeks and Gamers was like in the live chat for it, and Zack Snyder like clocked it, saw it.
That,
and
or
was
he
like,
was
hey.
like somehow because he had donated to like his fundraiser, like he was doing a charity fundraiser or something, and his name was like tied into that somehow because he like maybe he hit a donation goal and they were like, oh, Geeks and Gamers did this. I don't remember.
Yeah, he saw it come up in there. And now, granted, there is another member of the Fandom Menace who is credited in the Snyder Cut, who, in the wake of the conversation that was had by Snyder about Geeks and Gamers, said some vicious shit I'm not going to repeat.
That's good.
But it was insidious. And that cocksucker needs taken out of the credits. But I will give the benefit of the doubt and give like the grace that this was a finished product and this guy said this wretched shit the day it came out. But also there's an entire backlog of horrible things and targeted harassment because he's in the Fandom Menace. But anyway, Snyder saw Geeks and Gamers come up in the thing. He was like, hey, I see Geeks and Gamers in the chat. I just want to say we're not connected to him. We don't have anything to do with him. There's no room for hate here. If anything, the message of Justice League is how badly we all need to come together, stop Asian hate. And like, good on Zach for saying a good thing, but also good on Zach because not only did we get a new movie that day, we got 48 hours of the Fandom Menace imploding. Which, like, I know you don't look at Twitter often, but oh boy, they should have been making me pay for that entertainment. Because it was just
play Disney Plus Premier Access.
Yeah, give me my Disney Plus Premier Access to Doomcock being angry about the people who complain about cancel culture canceling themselves and then being angry about the concept of being canceled even though no one got canceled. It's the funniest shit ever. But anyway, same thing we said about the Snyder Cut. If you innocently tweet the hashtag, signs and petitions, maybe even donate to some really worthy causes. Because God knows, this is true, a lot of Snyder Cut people donated a lot of money to a lot of mental health advocacy groups. And credit where credit is due, that's good. There was positive change that was affected by part of the Snyder Cut movement. However, the other part of it was just straight up targeted harassment. So, if you're the type of person who wants to sign some petitions and make some tweets, we are not making fun of you. It's the crazies. It's the bus ads.
If you would consider
banner.
getting a bus ad or a plane banner or going to a convention center to hand out pamphlets like it's the goddamn Book of Mormon, then Jarod missed that whole bit where I held up a Book of Mormon.
I'm sorry. Somebody was sending me John Walker memes and, it's the actual Book of Mormon.
Yeah, I stole it from a hotel.
I remember this story.
Yeah, you can just take them. It's not the hotel's property. You can just take the Books of Mormon. Did you know the Book of Mormon was just one long sentence?
Yes.
They had to add the periods in later.
I remember that from last podcast on the left.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is nonsense, and it's because there's sequel setup. Because it's his original vision, right? Snyder left in the sequel setup in his movie for the eventual apocalypse Earth and Flash going back in time and saving everybody. So there wasn't real like I thought this was the least likeliest outcome, right? Like I was sure it was going to be that like something was terrible in the movie and people were like, this isn't really what we wanted. This wasn't the real Snyder Cut. It should have been better. So I guess this one was unavoidable.
Well, here's
Right?
what I will say. Like, I am not 100% in disagreement with the sentence, restore the Snyderverse. Then I'll put a caveat on that. While, yes, it's good Zack Snyder's original creative vision got to be upheld, at what point did that mean every other person's creative vision gets to get ripped apart? Because part of the mainline restore the Snyderverse shit is boycotting every non-Zack Snyder DC release moving forward, if not Warner Brothers in its entirety. So Wonder Woman 3 is going to be a no-go. The Suicide Squad is going to be a no-go. The Batman, Black Adam, Aquaman 2, Flash, all of these movies, they're all going to shit on because we've decided that in this weird cult of personality, one director, one writer, one creative's creative vision is the only one worth upholding. That's completely bananas to me. Like that's where it turns into like, no, like this is a friggin' cult.
Yeah.
It's a friggin' cult. And it's all about Zack Snyder. And when you then, look at the through lines of Zack's movies and this like really weird, like Ayn Randian mentality that permeates his entire filmography, then it gets even weirder because it's all this like the Fountainhead Atlas Shrugged shit taken to the nth degree. It's just strange. I don't understand it. But that said, like I don't necessarily need movie sequels to this. I said on Twitter a couple days ago, I would love a sequel comic. Zack Snyder's Justice League. Nightmare. Spell it with a K. Show us how we get to the Nightmare timeline, and then show us how we rectify it. That would sell off. That would go crazy. People would go ape shit. That would sell. That would sell.
People go ape shit. I don't think it would sell. It wouldn't sell to the point that it'd be worth them printing. I think it would sell to the fanatics, and maybe like the first issue would sell. I don't think it would, unless you did the whole thing in one shot, and then maybe. But I don't know. Do that well.
I feel like in the wake of the Snyder Cut and in the wake of the amount of people who all collectively went, I didn't like this, I didn't like that about Man of Steel or BVS or even the theatrical version of Justice League, and then walked away from it going, that was fun. I enjoyed it. If they're already like people who do actually read comic books, having this pumped down into the ether, I think people would be interested in it.
They'd be interested. Really I don't know that they'd pay money for it.
I don't know, man. I feel like it would succeed. Like and that way that sequel comics to stuff normally have like a weird life anyway.
They don't necessarily like hit it out of the park, but they exist as like, well, this is I look to like the Avatar comics, the Avatar The Last Airbender comics of like, I don't know anyone in my personal life that has ever even like put a hand on one, but there's like weird little, like there's YouTube videos all over of like, oh, this is like the canon thing of this from Avatar that you didn't know because you didn't read the comic, right?
Yeah.
I think that's what would happen.
With Travis.
That like it would become this thing of like, oh, this is the canon version of what would have happened if we got these movies, and people would watch that YouTube video and never touch the comic book.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that to dismiss them. Yeah, I'm not saying that to dismiss them existing. I think that would be like, there's nothing wrong with them existing. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they will because they just don't want to.
That's fair too. I mean, I think you have a point, and I do think that, like that was always my argument about doing weirder stuff with, Star Wars and live action. Is it like that's what those YouTube videos and articles exist to do? In the wake of Solo, why this character shows up in that scene? Headlines and video titles did you see? To just kind of like take people by the hand and go, okay, Darth Maul survived in Phantom Menace. Then he does this in Clone Wars. He's alive here, but about 5-6 years later in Rebels, then he dies. You're absolutely right. That weird cottage industry of like people who read a thing and then talk about a thing for people who like the thing but don't like it to the point where they want to collect and read the thing. That would absolutely happen. You're right. I think it's the best and only way to like make people even a little bit happy here. And not that, again, like I don't want to actively appease the stop the Snyder hate fuckheads. I don't care how they feel. I don't care what they think. I do not want to reward them for that shitty behavior.
And that's the thing, though, because again, I think you're right. I think that would be the best way to do it. It's just that it won't be enough for them, because nothing will ever be enough for them.
Absolutely, yeah. It'll be, okay, well, I'll do an animated movie next. Do an animated feature. Bring back these A-list actors. Shell out the money to put them in a voice booth. To have Affleck and Ezra Miller and Gal Gadot and Ray Fisher. And that's the other thing. Good luck getting him back for a goddamn thing. After everything that has happened, he's gone.
Yeah. I mean, he said he would come back as long as he wasn't working with, Hamada or whoever. But at this point, DC isn't going to budge on that. So he isn't going to budge on that.
So, yeah, good luck getting any of these A-list stars back just to re-voice these characters. Now factor in something like Ray Fisher. I think the only way to go is a comic, and I feel like it's the best that the movement deserves, quite frankly. Because it's not a crazy gesture like shelling out $70 million to finish the Snyder Cut, right? Finish. It's not a crazy gesture to do that, but it's enough to be like, we care about the people who want to see how this story wraps up and we can put a bow on it. And plus, doing it in a comic means you can just, it's going to be really hard to coordinate having Affleck and Jared Leto at the same time to do Batman and Joker shit. Who says you need Affleck and Leto in the same room to do it now? Just draw them. You're done. So, yeah. If you want to restore the Snyderverse, don't be a dick about it, and we won't make fun of you. And if you do the shit at Comic-Con again, I swear to God, it's just we're just gonna be vicious about it. We're gonna be just as vicious about it as we were the first time. Mm-hmm. Spencer, any of your thoughts having not seen the Snyder Cut?
I had a similar fear, something you mentioned 5 or 10 minutes ago, just because by unfortunate circumstance, Zack Snyder's vision wasn't executed as the only vision for Justice League, doesn't mean that you need to throw out what we got to begin with. That was with Joss Whedon, right?
Yeah.
It was, yeah. It's that would be like saying to me, it's the original Alice in Wonderland movie, the animated feature, was nothing like the book. And they made a live action with Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter that was a lot closer to the book, the author's original vision. But you don't see anybody out there boycott the animated flick. You don't see that. There's absolutely no reason to discredit what Joss Whedon made.
I mean, yes, there is, but
excluding that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
In only considering his artistic view, there's no reason to discredit his take on what Zack Snyder left for him. But now that you have what Zack Snyder wanted, leave everybody else alone.
Yeah.
That's
and it's weird to do that with referring exclusively to Justice League now that we know how much of a monster Joss Whedon was on that set and how he treated everybody. But it's the fact that it's upcoming releases they're going after.
Yeah.
That boggles my mind.
Don't do that.
And they did it to Birds of Prey. Where they were everything was, they all made it about Zack Snyder when it's can we talk about Kathy Yan? Can we talk about Kathy Yan for 30 goddamn seconds here? And the fact that she's making a movie about Gotham that doesn't involve Batman?
Mm-hmm.
And how that's awesome? Can we have that conversation, please? Can we talk about the fact that we're getting something that looks actually like a Batman year 1, year 2 story? That's embracing kind of like the comic book ridiculousness of Batman while being dark and gritty and all that bullshit. Like Justice League as like this weird microcosm in pop culture history is so difficult to discuss because there's all the baggage of like the weird artist that Zack Snyder is. And then you have Justice League, which in a vacuum, I like a lot. And
Jared,
is
that reminds
fine.
me. I don't know if you saw, but someone did the math, and 10% of the Snyder Cut is in slow motion.
Yeah.
Like an entire, what would that be? Like 24 to 25 minutes of that movie is in slow motion.
Which is roughly what you predicted, like guesstimated in the review last week.
If you sped it up, it would probably end up being, you'd probably shave off like 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Just by speeding all the slow-mo up.
Like Justice League is hard to discuss just because there's so many moving parts and so many caveats you have to add every other sentence. So like that's why I don't even touch that. But like the fact that there's like that there's going to be an effort to boycott Suicide Squad and the Batman and the Flash and every other upcoming DC property, I think is just gross and remarkably hypocritical. And can't get down with it. Don't be a dick if you want the Snyderverse restored, and we'll be fine. Otherwise, expect to be cyberbullied by Travis and me. Anyway.
That's how I'm going to come for you.
Well, we were off for 2 weeks. Oh, we're not off. We were doing full-length reviews for 2 weeks. We had WandaVision, and then we had the Snyder Cut. And at the same time as the Snyder Cut, Falcon and the Winter Soldier started up. So we're going to move into some TV talk to discuss the first 2 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And are we getting another panelist for this?
Maybe. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
I don't know. I just kind of stood up, but he started moving things.
Well, I thought that was because you wanted.
Well, I don't know. I'm getting sick of looking at my homework. I got one question done and was like, yep, that's all.
One's better than none.
He is mathematically correct.
One is greater than none, but is it better? That's another
Usually.
question entirely.
It's
That's for
better
the
than
philosophers
zero,
to
man.
figure out.
Okay,
Yes, we leave
let's
that
talk
up
to
to
Mike
you.
About it.
Yeah. So we got the first 2 episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And Spencer, since you never get to be on this show, I'm going to pitch to you first. Do you want to go episode by episode, or do you want to talk them both in one shot?
Probably just both in one shot.
Okay.
Cool. So here are my first takes. This is bullet pointed here. Sam is an idiot, shouldn't have given it up. Sebastian Stan is even more beautiful and wonderful than I ever thought he could be, and I love it. John Walker, despite the fact that he's a bit of an asshole, he is arguably still the best candidate the Army could come up with, and I can respect that. But again, he's a bit of an asshole. Isaiah, I can get behind that. I like his grizzly mentality. Like he's cool looking, and it adds a new layer. They realize this. Granted, they realize this, but is going to Zemo really the best choice? Is it? Is it?
For the plot, yes.
But is it? Like, here's an idea. Let's go visit some guy who is like a murderer and tried to kill all of us, or rather tried to get us all to kill ourselves. Let's go see him. Let's go chat.
Nearly succeeded on all fronts.
I can see this turning into the scene from Silence of the Lambs where Zemo is just like sadistic and scary for 10 straight minutes while Bucky and Sam are just kind of like trying to get anything out of him. Now, more thoughts. I don't hate the new Captain America suit. I actually think it looks pretty cool. But the guy inside it needs to go. I love...
You're being way more charitable to John Walker than I thought you were going to be initially.
Well, I got to give credit where credit is due. Like, the last time anybody received more than a single Medal of Honor was like World War I. So for him to get not only 2 but 3 is saying something. Also,
Jared, wasn't that specific person that one Marine that Robert Evans has talked a lot about, Smedley Butler?
Yeah, Smedley Butler.
You got 2.
He's one of
he
the
was
only people.
And he was like, well, this one doesn't count, but they're making me take it because they just handed them out to everybody. I don't know why I know that. I mean, I know why I know that, but
that was a bastard spool that took me a second. That was good.
I'm trying to think of anything else. I love the love-hate relationship between Sam and Bucky, and I know that that's just going to get better.
I like the scene where they recreated that moment from Attack of the Clones.
I didn't notice it.
Where Anakin and Padme are like frolicking through the field.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, that was good.
Down to the dandelions.
That was cute. Rip Red Wing, you will be missed. That's all for my initial thoughts.
Do you think they'll replace him with an actual Falcon?
God, I hope so. No. What if they do the thing with Joaquin? Like, what if they go there? Like, what if they actually do that?
I don't want... they don't have the budget. There were some shots in these 2 episodes that were a little iffy CG-wise. I don't think they have the budget to give a man real wings.
You don't think they're going to turn him into an actual Birdman by the end of the episode?
No.
Last thought. Again, credentials for regular human people with regular human experience, like John Walker and his, Master Sergeant, sidekick or whatever. They're pretty cool.
Battlestar.
They can't hang, and they don't realize it. They can't hang with Bucky and Sam. They think they can, and they have this like awful mindset that's like, not only can I hang with you, but I should be in charge of you. And I'm like, frick that. You've got nothing, because they fought Thanos, and who the hell knows where you've been. So this, like, I'm above you. I may not be Steve Rogers, but I'm still Captain America, which makes you my sidekick. And also the guy with the metal arm. That you get to be my sidekick too. I'm like, here, no.
Tag out.
No. Those are my thoughts.
Agreed.
My dad watching the second episode, I wish I had a hot mic on him. I wish I had a hot microphone on him, or I was filming him. Because the entire time, my dad is just, who the hell is this guy? Who do you think you are? Like the entire, like really loudly, like yelling at the TV. And like, and every time that Walker tried to put his balls on the table, he's like, did you fight Thanos? Pick up Mjolnir, bitch. I want to see you do it. Like that was like just bullying John Walker through the TV.
This is the same Ethan Stubbs from the Attack of the Clones movie theater. The story, like my favorite story of your dad, I think, ever. Would you like to tell it?
Yes. My dad, whom was seeing Attack of the Clones for the first time with me as a small child in a empty-ish theater, as I remember it, because we went during the day or some shit like that. As the story is told, he he got very excited when Mace Windu beheaded Jango Fett and went, Sam Jackson cut that guy's fucking head off. Like got super excited about it. Again, small isolated incident because there were a whole lot of people in there, so he had a little bit more liberty to get excited. But yeah, no. So I understand the whole John Walker hate, and I think it's funny watching it because, like, I know he's gonna become like I know he's the villain U.S. agent. Like I know that like that's his arc is that he becomes a villain in the comics. So I'm loving watching everybody else who like doesn't necessarily know it goes Super Patriot US or Super Patriot fake Captain America US agent the villain. Seeing him as already going, you did not pass the vibe check. Put the shield down right now. just the collective sense of every Marvel fan's like judgment of character to go, I don't like you. I don't trust you. This smells bad. Go. I am so entertained by the John Walker slander for that reason. Because I got excited to see him. Because I'm like, oh, yeah, like we get to see U.S. Agent. Like this is on the list of comic book characters I never thought I would see in live action. And so like I'm excited for him because I want to see him be like, you know, the Homelander style ultra nationalist villain. But like everybody just hates him on spec and he hasn't done anything terrible yet.
At the same time, because like, yeah, I hate him. I don't like him. It feels icky. It feels like he's an imposter. But I feel bad because like right now where everything is, he's trying. You know, he wants to do good, and you want him to do good because of who he is. But at the same time, it's just like,
there's a part of me that wants them to do a whole ass fake out, and he's just genuinely a nice guy. But the way every scene is framed is like,
I'm right there with you.
I know he has to be the asshole, but he's just really trying his best.
I'm trying my best, Julius.
I'm trying my best, Julius.
What I think would be so funny is if exactly what you just said, Travis, that they skip the whole like John Walker is the evil Captain America thing and they just make him a B tier Cap. And that like whenever Sam inevitably becomes the true Captain America, like he's just like, okay, US agent is my name now. I won't be Captain America, but I'll still be on the good guy team. I think that would be interesting.
No.
Do you think they'll go villain route and then somehow he'll redeem himself? Or like
maybe I could so I have my like general theory of his arc and like what's happening in the background. And I feel like it's obvious.
But that's the thing, like it does seem obvious, but what if they like
because I think what's happening is like they come to him like, hey, we're gonna super soldier you. You're gonna be the new Captain America, you've got the look, you're already practically a superhuman, but like you're just peak physical condition. We're gonna make you a captain, like a super soldier. We're like doing U.S. government shit and prompting this group of terrorists to come together that you can stop to like prop your name up right away. Everything's gonna look fantastic.
So you think the Flag Smashers are a false flag? Like that they're just like completely.
I think they are, but they don't know it.
Ooh,
I like that. I like that a lot.
They're doing what they're doing, but it's not them at all.
The thing that went off the rails was that they managed to legitimately steal the super soldier serum that was supposed to go to Walker.
That's why he's like,
and Walker knows and is like, I'm coming for these guys because they took what was mine.
Huh.
They took
I
what
like
was
that.
going to be a better.
I like that.
So, and that was another question I wanted to ask was like, do we think he's a super soldier yet?
No,
he absolutely isn't.
That he's just the peak of physical human, whatever.
Yeah, he's just a guy.
Be.
He's a really ripped guy, but he's just a guy.
Okay.
Yeah, both him and Battlestar, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Are both, and again, I think they got promised super soldier serum when they took up the job. And then it came around like, we kind of screwed up, and these guys kind of got your super soldier serum. Yeah.
So here's one other. Here's what I will say. I'm really glad that one of my biggest worries kind of got nipped in the bud. Because from the first episode, I got the vibe that the Flag Smashers were going to be under control of Zemo. And there was a part of me that was really annoyed that we were going to make the, call it what it is, leftist anarchist supervillains being controlled by Zemo, whom in the comics is like an out and out authoritarian. And like the direction they were going to go is like, oh yes, these stupid kid freedom fighters are useful idiots that like Zemo fed a lie to. Travis, I like your version so much more, where they actually are fighting for what they're fighting for and believe what they actually believe.
Oh,
but
yeah.
we're just kind of like gently pushed in the direction of John Walker to start that fight.
I think some version of that, either that or like I'm saying it goes as far back as like the government put them all, like managed to coerce them, all of these individuals into a chat room online or something. And that's how they found each other. Right.
You know what could have done that though? Like something like Zola's algorithm. They could have like they might, if they can find all the people that are like going to stand in the way of Hydra, they could very easily find out the people who would like be of the greatest, asset to Hydra. And even though Zola's been gone for what, like 10 years at this point.
Yeah. Post blip.
Yeah. Like he's been gone for a long time, but like, who's to say that his algorithm is him? They've got it on a flash drive somewhere.
Well, I also like that, the little moment we get to spend with the Flag Smashers. Also, I love that it is the actor for Enfys Nest who's playing the Carly Morgenthau. I think she's just a good pick for it. I like that we get a more nuanced version of what they believe. Because, like, according to Joaquin Torres, it's like they like the world back before the blip. And like that's just such a loaded statement of we like the version of the world that got culled of half of the people on it.
Yeah.
Where when they're talking
anarchist.
Yeah, they
are.
It
doesn't sound like unifiable or whatever, not Unitarian. That's not a good word, but like it sounds anarchist.
It's like teenager anarchist, like I'm gonna spray paint a scary looking A, not anarchist in like the actual political sense of like a governing state is a bad thing, and that being the political mentality there, that to hear them explain it, it's more, like people disappeared during the blip, and the second that specific rich and powerful people came back, the world went back to focusing on them, and then everybody fell through the cracks. Not even the people who were snapped back by the Hulk. Mm-hmm. And again, like hearing their own philosophy spoken in that one little moment made me like kind of put my guard down that we weren't going to get like a really weird, like, what do you believe in? Open borders, kill them all. Like that was going to be like that weird stereotype. And it was kind of like, it was going to be really propaganda-y that like felt weird just in the way they framed the Flag Smashers in the pilot. So like I was able to take a deep breath on that one a little bit. Lexi, your thoughts on the first two episodes before we go all in on like theory crafting and whatnot, because Spencer and Travis both got to go and I kind of did just now.
No, I mean I kind of did as well, because there's not much to say other than I agreed with Spencer and I agree with what you think. What's John Walker? John Walker just feels weird. It feels weird, and I'm mad at Sam for giving up the shield. He and Bucky make me laugh. There's a couple times that I almost teared up a little bit because it was so funny. I like Bucky a lot. I want to punch him in the head sometimes, but like, I like him a lot. I like the therapist dynamic too.
I
a
love
lot.
the
I think
therapist.
that's so funny.
Because
Um,
I can't. I think she might have hinted at it, but you can tell by her demeanor that she's got a service record. Like
She
she's
says,
ex-military.
She says, I've seen bodies. I know how that messes with people.
Yeah.
So
And like
Yeah.
that vibe, like it would be so much less interesting if it was just like your average therapist, but like knowing that she can see straight through the bull crap and can be like, I know you're lying.
was she
Like,
assigned
okay,
to him?
you're still
Yes.
lying.
She's his court order.
So she was assigned to him for a reason. Like, yeah.
Yeah, but she seems like top brass. Like not just, oh, I was, in the military. She's like 2-star general material.
I really hope that we get to have like a comedic version of Bucky's amends, like scripted bit. That like I hope we get a moment of him just like tearing somebody a new asshole, and it's just like, my name is James Bucky Barnes. I'm not the Winter Soldier. You're a part of my efforts to make amends, and he's just beating the piss out of somebody. I think that would just be such a funny beat. Like it has the same energy of like Tony and Banner and Age of Ultron. It's like go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep. It's the same energy.
That, or we're gonna get the cathartic him fighting Walker at the end, and it's like, because maybe Walker turns out to be part of Hydra or something, and he set up the program that funneled into Walker becoming Captain America, and as he's beating the crap out of him, just, my name is James Buchanan Barnes. I am no longer the Winter Soldier. This is part of my effort to make amends or something, and he takes the shield back.
I enjoy that. That would be fun.
That'd be intense.
Also, comic book lore wise, the second episode is a lot, because in the credits of the show, I noticed in the first episode it had the thing that says the power broker is watching. In the comics, the power broker is the partner of, again, Travis, you and I picked a damn good comic to cover for this. With that first run, that's Dr. Malice's like partner normally, is the power broker. He's the one who has like a version of the super soldier serum that at the end of the day, it's not so much as like the heightens everything. It's more just, it turns you into a super strength monstrosity. And that's how you get Isaiah Bradley. Is he was tested on by the government. It was their kind of like analog to the Tuskegee trials, where they just took a bunch of black men and just tested them to be like, okay, this is how we make this formula. So I'm really fascinated to see if we get like a flashback to Isaiah Bradley in service as Captain America. Because that was a big moment. And I would not, if it weren't for the fact that we knew Sam was going to wear the comic book suit, I would be anticipating Sam making the final decision to retire the title of Captain America. Like, because of how outraged he gets at finding out about Isaiah. Mm-hmm. Right? And that scene was incredible as well. But knowing that the power broker is involved, I'm very curious to see, because Travis, I think a version of what you're saying could be right. If the U.S. government is using the power broker on both sides of the conflict, and like power broker is going to be the kind of great equalizer to make it so that John Walker can go toe to toe with the Flag Smashers and with Carly Morgenthau. And also is the reason why the Flag Smashers are superhuman in the first place. So I'm very interested in that. I also like that they brought in Elijah Bradley, who later becomes Patriot. And I still really think we're getting set up for them to do something with the Young Avengers. Because if Billy and Tommy are brought back somehow, You have Wiccan and Speed. We're getting Kate Bishop and Hawkeye. We're getting a new Wasp with the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. Like we have Riri Williams. There's Kamala Khan. Like we're one Hulkling away from having the Young Avengers. Like literally all that's missing is like some version of Hulkling, and maybe Marvel and Sony really put their nuts on the table and introduce Miles Morales at some point. Like you can have like a full-fledged version of either the Young Avengers or the Champions at this point here with the characters they're bringing in, and that shit excites the hell out of me. Like again, this is that like we're going into the deep, like the fun deep lore that's like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's just, this is the shit I never thought would even be on the table ever. And it's all right there and up for grabs. Travis and or Lexi, what do you think is going to happen with Zemo?
Quite honestly, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember it. Who's that?
The guy in the cell at the end of the second episode. He's from Civil War.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't remember that at all.
The villain from Civil War who like sets up the Avengers to go to war with each other.
Dude, I have no clue what you're talking about. I don't remember. And I also don't remember from the show.
At the end of the second episode when they're like, are you really sure he's the guy to go talk to? And the cuts to the guy in the jail cell.
Like, I remember that conversation. I just do not remember what. I have no clue.
I hear doggos. I feel like Zemo might be the route.
Close an extra layer of doors because the neighbor's dog is being rather loud.
It's a cute puppy, though. I love that puppy.
Alfie's adorable.
He's a beautiful puppy.
Yeah, but he blames it on the neighbor's dog. I just heard Yoda screaming.
Yeah, Yoda is. I love him. He's the worst.
Yeah.
I walk in that house and Yoda starts yipping like we've never met. I'm like, you know me.
It's been years.
Chewie just comes up and he's like,
oh, it's you.
She said, oh, it's you.
I vaguely remember seeing this man. I can't remember. I don't remember movies very well or shows or anything unless I see it more than once. So
that is valid. I understand that.
I'm embarrassed that I can't think of it. Like I don't even know.
No, you're good. I feel like if you get like 5 minutes into Civil War, it'll all snap back too. But Travis, where do you think the Zemo plot's going? Because like I said, I don't know what to expect from him now that he isn't like personally responsible for either side of the conflict.
I think he, at the very least, is going to be the route for them to figure out what's going on with Walker, the Flag Smashers, or both. Right? Like he's going to know about some Hydra plot from years ago that's now panning out that the U.S. government is using, and it's actually Hydra and the U.S. government because they're never gone. Right. So I don't know how he factors into the conflict because like he's clearly going to get out of prison and have his mask and be a villain in this show. I just don't know who, like, how, when, or why. You know?
I think it was a good bait and switch on the part of the marketing because I really did go into the show thinking that Zemo was behind all of it. And we're about to be 3 episodes deep, and all he's done is stare menacingly into a camera. So I'm very, very interested in where it's going because, like, that was just one of the things they wanted us to think, and clearly it worked. I saw this one implication on the interwebs that I think is really interesting. I want to hear what you guys think. That the reason for Zemo's comic booky outfit this time around is that the reason he's basically wearing a purple sock and the whole purple getup is to mock them for their defeat against Thanos. And that like it's supposed to be some type of allusion to Thanos now that he's finally wearing the comic book outfit.
Or he's been like orchestrating the Flag Smashers from behind a jail cell the whole time.
There's that. He could have been doing that. That would be less interesting at this point, though.
So that's what he's supposed to look like from the comic books.
Yeah.
He never wears that outfit in Civil War. He's just the guy. But in the show, in the, like the promotion, we see him with like this mask on.
I just saw like, you know, like the weird, like, you know, fan theories that float around that like it's supposed to be him going like, hey, you remember the last time you got your asses beat by somebody dressed in purple? Well, here we go again. What do you think's coming with Zemo? What do you think's coming with Zemo?
I don't know. Zemo's not the kind of guy. He doesn't have a big enough ego for them to go in there and be like, look, we know you know something. And I bet it would make you feel like really powerful to tell us you know stuff, right? He's not like, he's got an ego, but he's not going to give anything away for free. And so like they're going to walk in there and they're going to be like, hey, we need information. And he's going to be like, great, what you got for me? Now, I don't think at this point that Bucky and Sam need that information badly enough to break him out. But I wouldn't be surprised if like they strike a deal with Zemo. This would be cool. Where like Zemo knows more than we do, more than they do. And he's like, all I need from you is like to call this number at this time. That's it. And they'll be like, that's it? You're like, yeah, that's it. And then like he gives them what they want to know. They do it. And like something that seems really little ends up being like the ticket for him out of there. And like he has this master scheme to get out of prison. And all it takes, like the one piece that he needs just happens to be the piece that walks through the door and seems like completely unsuspecting. That would be cool. Otherwise, I'm not sure how he's going to get out of there unless like the Flag Smashers or if John Walker is actually a bad guy are like, you're an asset. You're coming with me. Like if that doesn't happen, it doesn't make a lot of sense for him to be out of prison unless in exchange for information, he convinces Bucky and Sam to do something that in a very small but crucial way will contribute to his breakout.
That's interesting. I like that. I am really curious as to where he goes from here. And I'm also curious because, like, unless things change as the season goes on and we find out, like Travis said, he's been orchestrating shit from a prison cell, that type of thing. It does not feel at first glance, as we all thought, that Zemo is the core villain here. It feels like it's going to be either the Power Broker or Walker or the Flag Smashers. I'm leaning towards some combination of U.S. Agent and the Power Broker. I really like the idea that Zemo, like the show ends and Zemo's just back on the board. And like that would warrant a second season of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And that means that one of the A-list Marvel villains, you know, because again, Red Skull is this creepy ass revenant in the middle of nowhere now. Thanos is dead. We don't have Doom yet. We don't have Galactus yet. Baron Zemo is a good villain to just kind of have laying around to use here and there. Also, let's slap him with that title Baron, and then you kind of get a little bit of a backdoor with the whole Sokovia thing to start playing around with shit like Latveria, because we do need to build towards the Fantastic Four at some point. Mm-hmm. So I think that there are some interesting things you can do with Zemo hopefully they do not kill him off. And hopefully, at least for me, he doesn't end up back in a prison cell by the end of the season. That's just me. I do want to talk about one thing with John Walker before we wrap up. And it is that I think one of the best little moments the show has had so far to show just how much that John Walker is no Steve Rogers is the moment he fires that gun at the Flag Smashers. And the way the camera lingers on it to just let the audience feel gross. Because they just, like, when's the only other time we see Steve holding a gun? During World War II.
I was going to mention that to you when we watched it, but then I wasn't sure if I remembered it correctly, so I didn't want to say anything, be like, oh, I don't remember Captain America literally shooting at people, but like...
Yeah, there's that one montage in the first Captain America when they're fighting Nazis and it's justified. So...
Yeah, and I mean, even then, like, you're in the middle of a battlefield, like it's a completely different scenario. Flash forward, Steve's had so much more time in training with the mantle that he doesn't need a firearm. He's just, he's got his
more
shield.
Deadly without it.
He's more deadly without a gun. He just needs the shield and like really, really well shot butterfly kicks. And then boom, your jaw's on the floor. But I just love the way they linger on the way of like him just holding the gun out. And just the shot and like the way the camera just kind of like lingers and moves around a little bit.
I will say on that note, there are some weird camera shot choices in this show, specifically with like the scene between Bucky, the first scene between Bucky and the psychologist, where like as they're talking, it's just close up. It feels weird.
I think that's by design. I think they're trying to like go for the invasiveness of the moment.
It's clearly by design. I don't think it worked. I just felt not weird.
I thought it worked.
I'm with you.
I didn't notice at all.
It felt
like,
awkward, but not in the
natural.
way it was supposed to. I don't think it felt like really strange.
I was like, oh, yep, there's his forehead.
Like almost like they couldn't film them in the same room. And they needed to be able to hold this conversation. Because also, like, I've noticed some bad line placements of, like, a character's turned around and they can put in a different read of the line than what was there. Or, like, maybe they're not actually saying anything. That happened last episode with Sam, where he's talking to Bucky. And he's turned around and he's like, I think it was the big three line. And he goes, the big three. And he's clearly not talking.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I noticed there was weird ADR at one point in the second episode. I don't think I noticed it there. I think there's a weird line delivery when they're in the jail where like there's a weird like cut where it's the same thing where like somebody's clearly not talking, but they just threw the line over because this is all you can see.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
Side note, the big three conversation is hilarious, though.
Yeah.
I love that.
Absolutely.
He's a sorcerer, a wizard without a hat.
Also, there was some a couple of the green screen hiccups, which I can forgive because it is a TV show. They are on kind of a budget. And I'm sure most of that budget went to Vision. So, like...
Yeah, there's one shot that bugged me because I saw it, thought it looked funky, then saw a version of that moment that was slowed down and realized I was right about how choppy it looks. Go back and just watch and rewatch the moment because it's a cool moment. The moment itself is really cool, but like it lingers too long and it starts to look weird. The bit where Walker throws the shield and then Bucky with his like organic hand
catches it.
His head moves really weird.
There's a couple of moments during that fight where because like clearly they're on a green screen stage where like if my right hand is the action and the left hand's with the green screen, right? Action's happening. Suddenly, background shifts up a foot and back down. Not literally a foot, but like they're fighting and then shift. Like something's catching in a single frame, and they never fixed it.
Yeah, there have been more like weird moments with the special effects here than with WandaVision so far. Again, I can forgive it. Most of it's in like otherwise really tightly choreographed and well shot action sequences. The canyon chase in the first episode was amazing. Again, however many weird shots and hiccups there may have been, I still think that truck fight was incredible. You know, seeing Sam in a situation where like having wings is kind of a hindrance. Where like, yeah, it saves his life, but now you've also been effectively taken out of the fight because of it is cool. And I do like watching John Walker fight. I like seeing him get hit more, but I do like seeing him fight. But again, that's just because I'm expecting the worst from him. Anyway, it seems like we're all in agreement. We're all enjoying Falcon and the Winter Soldier so far, and I'm looking forward to more very much. With that, Travis and Lexi, where can the lovely people or unless anybody has any final thoughts. I just realized I didn't ask that.
The moment with the cops.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that was I'm embarrassed we forgot to talk about that. That was so I thought that was really well written. The way that like it took like he's a fucking Avenger, you dickhead, like leave him be. That was really well done. I will say a lot of the more social commentary stuff I am waiting to discuss super in detail. Like now that we have a vibe for it, because in the first episode I was getting kind of nervous in the direction it was heading. I talked about that on Cosmic Cubecast with Jerry from Bombadcast. But now that we kind of have like a better idea of where it's going, now that they are leaning into the Isaiah Bradley stuff, I'm kind of waiting till the show wraps up to talk on that element. Just because I want to have trying to talk about that element in bits and pieces feels like diagramming a sentence right now when you don't have the full sentence. So fair. That's fair. That's kind of where I am at with that stuff. But that moment, sweet Jesus, it was so well written.
It was kind of like the entire Black Panther movie. Like the social commentary is staring you in the face, and it's not even trying to hide, but you don't mind it.
Oh yeah, for sure. And you know, Killmonger wasn't entirely wrong, as we could see in the movie. Anyway, any other final thoughts before we wrap up here? All right. Well, Travis and Lexi, where can the lovely people find you?
Lexi Lion 98 on Twitter and Acapella 98 on Instagram. How about you, sir?
They can find me at Travis Political on Twitch and on Instagram and Twitter, and at BlackLeader439 on Twitch. If you show up this week and the next couple of weeks, we're probably playing Assassin's Creed 2 because I'm getting nostalgic for Assassin's Creed again. Nice. Now that the weather's warming up. So
now that the weather's warming up, it's time to play Assassin's Creed.
Like, oh yes, I remember last year when I locked myself in my house and played every game in the franchise. Let's do that again.
I hope this becomes a yearly and just an annual thing for you.
I hope it doesn't, but it probably will.
It's like spring cleaning. I just see you throwing open the door, just, honey, get my robes, get my hidden blade, and get the PlayStation warmed up. It's time for Assassin's Creed month. Spencer, where can the lovely people find you, sir?
They can find me on Instagram at SpenceManCosplay and on Twitter at SpenceMan49. Jarod,
yes.
Where can the lovely people find you?
You stole Travis's job, and then you hit it with a little extra sauce at the end.
Yeah, no, sorry. Spencer, here's how you gotta do it. Ready? Jarod.
What?
Where?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at DarkJedi2552. And you can find the Nerd Academy Podcast on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and on our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. Where, if you're feeling generous, you can donate to our Patreon page. Speaking of our patrons, thank you to our $10 alumnus, Case and Breon, the Waffle Wizard, Delta 9, and Zach Canals, and nobody else. You guys can help us make the content that we love to produce. Be sure to check out the $5 tier. Travis and I read comic books for Heroic History 101. Spencer and I talk about Space Wizards getting into fist fights on the Versus series. And Devin and I watch movies while you guys listen to us watch the movie. That's just me explaining the Patreon exclusive shows really poorly. On the $10 tier, you also get a week early access to Campus Life and Nerd Academy Movie Club. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to check out the student store link on our website to check out all the good Nerd Academy merch goodies, like that sexy hoodie he's wearing, this comfy-ass pillow, the myriad of stickers on my computer, my phone case. I think Travis has a sticker on his car. Do you have a sticker on your car?
I have 2 on my laptop.
He has 2 on his laptop. Lexi's got a sticker on her phone.
It's like no longer a TNAP sticker, but it was at one point.
But with all that said, thank you all so very much for listening. And class dismissed.